working on my landscape composition, I decide with my paper if I want to do a circular composition or just on the rectangular paper. Whatever you choose will be fine. With pencil, we lightly sketch. We need our horizon line, and we don't like to put the horizon right in the middle. We usually want it to be more up or more down, but not directly in the middle. It can be a jagged line. It can be a curvy line, but I'm just sketching really softly. Then I'm going to add like a zigzag line, bringing the horizon forward. You could add things like lines for trees, but in the background, the lines are shorter because things that are far away from us are smaller in the background. And then things that are closer to us get larger in the background. You could add things like houses or animals. If you add a house, it would need to be in perspective, so it would be three-dimensional, like a cube. You could add things like trails. That would get larger as you get closer to the front and then smaller as you go towards the back. Once you have it all sketched, you can trace it with a Sharpie, outlining your pencil lines, carefully getting in what you want to keep, adding things like texture to perhaps the trees. You could add different values if you did mountains, shading quickly on one side to make it look darker or more shadowed. You could cross hatch by hatching your lines together. And on our composition, we want to make sure we sign it with our name. Once this part is done, we will use chalk to do the sky. I'm using analogous colors today, or colors next to each other on the color wheel. I'm going to pick 3. So analogous colors are ones that touch each other. If I wanted to do a cooler color sky, I have my 3 analogous colors. Chalk is made up of mainly pigment, which is like powder or color, and there's not much of a binder in it, which is why it's so chalky, literally. Whereas oil pastels have more oil instead of pigment, which makes them more oily. Now with chalk pastels, I don't have to color it in solid because I'll be going back and blending those colors in with my finger. So it can be a little bit patchy, but I'm filling it in with different variations of color. You could try using the side of the chalk. You could try and hatch it and go over it in different ways. But once it is all filled in, you will take some starch and you're going to dip your finger in the starch and you're going to massage over that chalk. And that chalk or that starch is going to act like a binder, and it's kind of going to blend your chalk down to the paper. So we just kind of massage in a circular motion, dipping your finger back in whenever you need to get more of that starch on your finger. And we're going to really work on blending our analogous colors of our landscape